The following is brought to you by Thryv, the end-to-end client experience platform that helps you get the job, manage the job, and get credit.
Hello, this is Gordon Henry of Winning on Main Street, and in this special year-end edition, we've decided to revisit with three of the Thryv Foundation Grant Award winners, folks we spoke with earlier in the year, right when the pandemic hit, and Thryv made grants to many small businesses who were in need during the darkest days of the pandemic to help them get through it. And we've decided to have these year-end visits with them to see how the year has gone for them since that time. And we'll be speaking today with Dave Riddell of Big Frog Custom T-Shirts down in Durham and Asheville, North Carolina, Ricardo Picon, owner of the Sandwich Shop in Brooklyn, and Rachel Bowers of Brooklyn Bark. So first, we're going to catch up with Dave Riddell, the head of Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. He's based out of Asheville and Durham, North Carolina, runs a couple of franchises there. And Big Frog, just to remind you, from back when we spoke with Dave last time, May 29th of 2020, when the COVID was just hitting retail hard, that Dave's custom franchise, Big Frog, has about over 80 locations nationwide, quite a bit in the South, but Dave is up in North Carolina. So Dave, how are you?
Nice to see you again. Doing well. I mean, we've made it this far, so still smiling.
Good. That's great to hear. So as I was saying, yeah, we spoke initially, I think our conversation was in late April, early May. We aired that episode latter part of May. Here we are a good 6 months later. How's Big Frog doing?
I mean, as us, we have survived the storm. I mean, it's really heartbreaking to watch any businesses close, people lose their job. And I've seen colleagues, not only Big Frog colleagues, but industry colleagues that have left. And that's hard to muster just personally. From an us standpoint, we've been able to survive the storm. Now, as mentioned, we are basically events-based, schools, nonprofits, churches, camps. They were all out for the summer. School, they're still kind of out. And so how do you pivot? What do you do? And I mean, we had established enough to be able to inch along, right, and not be a casualty.
So did that continue to be true where most of your customers are these school or event based as opposed to individuals walking in? That was still true the latter half of this year?
Yeah, I mean, a decent amount of our base is still the retail client, the ones to 50s. That helped because screen printers can't do that. What also helped is there are places open like manufacturing plants, the trades, and when you build yourself relationships and a reputation, then you start to get referrals that come out of the blue that have helped. So it's the top end and the lower end, but the main core in the middle, you lose. And so have sales gone down? Yes. Have we had to make adjustments? Yes. But having enough to get through to whenever the other side is a very thankful experience.
Yeah, good. As I recall, were you closed at the beginning of COVID? Did you close the store for a couple of weeks?
We did close for 4 to 6 weeks, and our people, took the unemployment route. And by mid-May, I was able to, with PPP, bring them all back, every single one in both locations. None of them have left. And so here we are in November or in December, made it without letting any of our workforce go.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we should mention you were also the recipient of a Thryv Foundation grant back in that period. So between that and the PPP, that helped you get through. That's great. So how are you feeling about as we head into 2021? Obviously, lots of vaccine news. Things were opening up. Now they're closing a little bit with the latest surge. What's your feeling about heading into early 21?
Within the store, within business, we've learned how to operate. I mean, keep the store clean, keep the distance, set up a table and a barrier if needed, how to speak to our team so that they're not running around crazy in hopes of catching it, because we've had a couple of instances where they were exposed and had to go home and get tested. And so we've been able to manage what we've been able to manage. As far as the the spending habits, I think after 7 or 8 months of all of this, people are starting to spend, right?
Yeah.
My fear is, are we going to close? What could happen? But although there aren't events, people are still going and doing and needing, and uniforms are becoming a thing again for the businesses that have stabled out. And so, barring any shutdowns, we will learn to live with masks. We will learn to live with restrictions probably through 2021. Just
Yeah.
shutdowns are governmental in terms of, is there another round of PPP? Who can survive that? Because the dangerous part is, if you took yourself upon getting idle's great until the payment comes, and if sales are still down, where do you handle that?
Right. And EIDL, for those listening, that's the economic injury disaster loans from the government, which after PPP was something that some of the small to mid-sized businesses started to go
Yeah,
for.
PPP help people. Oh, I mean, help people get back open, but then you still have to have a sustainability. So idle comes, and you're not supposed to spend it all before habits go back to normal, because then that bill comes asking.
Yeah. So the numbers, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the numbers for 20 versus 19. You said you were down. Do you have any, can you share any numbers? I mean, is it, round numbers, is it 10%, 20%? How much impact would you say?
There are many of my colleagues, again, not just Big Frog stores, but industry stores, that are down 30 to 50. We're going to be down 15 to 20,
Okay.
which, when we were expecting to be up 20 or 30, that's
Right.
a huge swing.
That is.
But it could also be worse. We could also be closed, sick, dead, down 50. So to be down 15 or 20, because again of what we established, and people who knew we were here and doing something different, from fundraising things, which gets you visibility, to online stores, to finding some different networks and clients, we're taking 15 to 20 every day. We're thankful for that.
Yeah. I'm just curious. I'm always interested whether there's any silver linings to the pandemic for businesses, because people's habits have changed. Were there any changes that helped you, where, for example, people were working at home and wanted to put on a company t-shirt or something that they wouldn't do before? Was there anything like that where found an upswing that maybe was unexpected?
Well, I just think, when you said, what did the pandemic do positively, it allowed us to reset and be ready. Because again, an idle, a PPP, I mean, the goal isn't to burn through it like it's free money, but if it allows you to start again, if it allows you to say, hey, now I've been open 4 years. Yes, it's slower, but I still have this client base and this experience. And if it would pay off of like this revolving credit, and allow you to get ready and prepare yourself, and the way we went about marketing was different, and a couple other things. So it's a good reboot, reset, which is great. From a client perspective, yes, we did a lot of fundraising. We did a lot of, and I think I may have spoken about it, that we set up a site to help businesses and nonprofits. And so now they were getting visibility by marketing this site. People are wearing their shirt and they're getting money. So by doing that, we found new clients that were buying the things, new clients in those businesses that wanted our help, that, wait, I've never had shirts, but somebody can buy my shirts. Hey, I think I'll buy some now to give to people. So yes, there had to be a new appreciation. I mean, you see a lot of Zoom reunions too, and so, hey, I still have to stand up. We did even our regional meetings weren't live, and so we all got a shirt, and you kind of get a picture on the screen. And tough, but I get it. It's like the smiles still have to be there, right? You got two options. You've either got blah about this whole thing, or we got to live with it, so make the most of it. I mean, you
Right.
celebrate birthday parties in the drive-by, right? Everybody in the lawn, I mean, everybody's spaced out with shirts, and then the car drives by for the kid that's sick or something.
Right. Well, I hope things turn out for you as we head into 21. There is an expectation, none of us can predict the future, but with all these vaccines coming so soon. I mean, you probably saw the UK already started inoculating people. I saw today Canada's quickly rushing to get the Pfizer vaccine out. And the United States is now saying, possibly 100 million vaccines in the first 100 days of the new administration. So a lot of talk. We'll see what actually happens. But maybe this spring, by then, people will start being inoculated and hopefully getting out. And maybe that'll start to help you have a good spring. So I
fundraisers, schools, whatever event, whatever gets people where they can stand close together and celebrate something. That's pretty much what we do. Even uniforms you're not wearing for in-house, you're wearing to go and be seen by other people. So,
exactly. Yeah, fantastic. Well, again, best of luck and congratulations on making it through this. And did your chain of stores, the 80 plus Big Frog stores, did any of them fold, or they were all still there?
There's still, according to our president, a speculation that some will, because as I mentioned, you had enough funds to kind of get through it, but the longer it goes, they don't. So we lost some, but some of the one, I think those that we lost were more for this is an easier way out, or it was coming anyway.
Yeah.
From legitimately closing for a month or two and having no sales, no, but that's the next 120 days, because now's our slow season, right? We're supposed to work hard for 9 months to get enough money for December through February. Well, we didn't have that. So who can survive the winter months? And that applies to any year, right? Who can surprise? I mean, store enough for those off months. The whole year's been off. So time can only tell, and we hope for the best.
Right. Exactly. Well, thanks for sharing a few minutes with us today, and best of luck. And hopefully we'll be able to visit with you again in 6 months, and you'll be looking up and things will be back to normal. Let's hope for that.
Whatever you need, whatever helps everybody. It's like we're all in this together.
Agreed. All right. We've been speaking with Dave Riddell of Big Frog down in Asheville and Durham, North Carolina. And Dave, good luck and happy holidays.
Thank you, sir. Same to you.
All right. And next up, we're going to be speaking with Ricardo Picon, who is the head of the Sandwich Shop in Brooklyn, New York. We spoke with Ricardo way back on May 8th when the pandemic was still in its early days. And we're here about half a year later and eager to catch up with Ricardo. Ricardo, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks, Gordon, for having me again. It's great hearing that you wanted to catch up with what we're doing. And, exactly 6 months later, a lot has happened. Time is hard to measure time in the with the pandemic happening. But good news, and very good news, is that we did our first license of the Sandwich Shop. Actually, we licensed the only store we have. The licensee originally wanted to open another one, but given the situation and what's going on in the city, we decided to do the experiment and basically have him operate the flagship. I mean, the only one we have. So we are kind of co-running the shop with him. He's a young businessman. He's a Princeton graduate, and he's doing very well. I mean, we are doing very well.
That's great. So as a licensee, is he going to be taking it over from you? How is that different than a franchise?
Yes, the main difference is that a licensee gets to do everything himself or herself. So you don't have a commissary, you don't have a center where you resell your goods or your preparations. Basically, he's got the potential to make everything. And it's a very, it's a person-to-person situation. So in this case, basically we are making a cut of his revenue. We're being reasonable because of the situation. And in our case, we're helping him with consulting with the branding, with the marketing part, and that's so basically, depending on the license, you can give them like a 2-mile radius or 1-mile radius. It depends, and then you can issue other licenses to other people around the city or wherever you are.
Great, great. So let's just rewinding a little bit. We spoke to you back in May. Listeners may remember that you had gotten a Thryv Foundation grant, and as I recall, you had actually gotten hit pretty hard with COVID early. One of your chefs or kitchen members had gotten COVID. You had closed down, you had reopened, and things were starting to pick back up for you. How have the past 6 months been, just from a business standpoint?
Look, we are kind of like like an ugly duckling story, where when we opened 7 years ago, we had a model that was very COVID oriented, because it was a small place that was doing 80% online sales, all like Grubhub, Seamless, all Caviar, so all delivery. So my wife was like, "Whoa, we have such a great menu, and I feel so bad we don't have like enough sit down space." And I was like, one day we'll have a big place. One day we'll have a big place. The pandemic hit, we're like, you know what? We'll never have a big place. This is a great format. 80% pre-COVID, 80% of our sales were online.
Right.
So our customers basically grew after the pandemic, just because, especially the area we're in, we're like in a very hip neighborhood, which is Williamsburg in Brooklyn. So a lot of people who live there are like tech freelancers, or they're working remote. And as you might know, cooking takes a lot of time. I mean, and now with remote working, people are probably even working more than before, because they're breaking down their days, etc. So business-wise, numbers have been very, very stable. We applied for a PPP loan back at the moment. That helped tremendously, and I think the mentality of the workers has changed too. They don't have a trillion places to go, so they're more loyal to whoever can give them work.
Got it. So it sounds like you had a pretty good 8 months. I'm sure nobody was happy to be in this situation. Nobody wished it on anybody, but from a pure number standpoint, your business was strong for the past 6 months.
Yes, indeed. Yes, yeah. was strong. We since again, we're being very careful. We don't want to overspend on anything. We're working on a skeleton. I mean, I'm wrapping on the safety side, where like we're working with a skeleton crew. We're not like like overdoing it. We're not spending on what we don't need. Not even in branding wise, we have cut down on branding, because we don't know, especially election year, etc. So we're being careful.
Right. And from a perspective of the employees, it sounds like you reduced the number of employees you had there. I was wondering, did anybody else get COVID?
Look, no, we've been very lucky that we only had 2 cooks, and ourselves. It's like but no more staff got sick.
Okay.
I think it's gonna explain. I think New York City in general did very, very well after the whole the first wave, which was very tragic. Yeah. But afterwards, I think the numbers reduced a lot here.
Right. Understand. Good. So now you have this licensee who's taken over the business, and as you said, the numbers have been pretty stable. What does it look like for 2021? Do you think there will be more licensees? What's your forecast?
Look, I do want to. It's a great opportunity to have more licensees, especially because the commercial real estate in Manhattan is devastated. I think there will be a lot of spots that will need to be rented. I think it's a great opportunity. I do want this licensee to be, because he's my friend as well. So I do want him to succeed. And he doesn't come from the restaurant business. He actually comes from having a drone company. So like a drone inspecting company. So I want him to do very well. I think that 2021 could be our first licensee in Manhattan. Yes, let's hope for that.
Yeah, excellent. And your customers, as you said, they're tech. They've been working remote, and so for the foreseeable future, you're going to have a very stable base there, because none of these people are necessarily going back to work anytime soon, right? Because many of them are working remotely anyway.
Yes, exactly. And then the film industry, I mean, he needs to shoot again. I think the consumption of Netflix and HBO, etc., is going through the roof.
Right.
And New York is a big shooting spot for sure.
Right. You're
At least,
right.
yeah, we do have, yeah. Sorry.
You mentioned you have a big film industry right there in Brooklyn.
Yes, yeah. Greenpoint, Long Island City, Silver Cup Studios. So we do have, especially we don't shoot. We don't cater to the big crew, but especially for the smaller offices. Yes, but still, it's 30, 40 people, 50 people.
Yeah. Yeah, good. Well, I wish you the best, and hopefully things will start getting back to normal next year as these vaccines come online, and you'll start to see your business normalize, I guess, again, and potentially get some of these licenses out there. I did want to ask you one last thing. There's a lot of discussion now about another round of government stimulus programs coming online, possibly even within a week or two. Do you foresee yourself applying for another economic stimulus or PPP loan if it's available?
It depends. It depends on what the payback will be. It depends because again, I think I want the licensee and me. I want him to be as debt free as possible.
Sure.
So I would prefer to work organically, especially if you're doing well. You shouldn't dig a bigger hole, because at the end of the day, I think that if we've gone through the worst, well, things can only get better.
Right.
But however, if we see an imminent help for expansion, meaning a catering kitchen, meaning growing that catering market, that could be. However, the thing, Gordon, is that company. I mean, if you go to Manhattan right now, buildings are empty, lights are off. So the problem with catering, as we see it, is that our audience is dispersed. They're at home. They're not concentrated in the office. So it is very hard to do that. We have to wait until people come back to the offices, and then we'll probably go at the idea of making a catering kitchen. Got it.
Okay. Well, Ricardo, thanks for spending a few minutes with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and congratulations on getting through this as well as you have. It sounds like you've been a combination of savvy business instincts and some good luck in that your format was already kind of designed for takeout and off premises. So a little bit of luck never hurts.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to mention that your grant was extremely helpful at the time it was. We were in a very dark place. I think that you guys helped. How can I explain? You helped us believe in ourselves and at the moment in life, because it was a very dark place. I mean, and I think that got us kind of that push to move forward and to show people that we were worth it and that business was actually a good business regardless of what was going on.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm glad we were able to help when we did. So thanks again, and best of luck for 21.
Thank you, Gordon. The same for you.
At America's SBDC Network, our mission is simple: to help businesses grow and succeed. Our consulting, training, and information services make it easier for businesses to reach their potential. Whether you're currently in operation or just starting out, America's SBDC Network has the right tools, resources, and expertise to help you succeed. Visit us online or contact your local office to get started on your path to success today.
We're back with Rachel Bowers. Rachel was a guest of ours on June 5th for Winning on Main Street back in the early days of COVID. Rachel's company, Brooklyn Bark, had won a Winning on Main Street, actually a Thryv Foundation grant, which helped her get through some of the early days. And I know at that time, Rachel, you were also looking for some loans or grants from possibly the government programs like the PPP. So the purpose of this was really to just kind of revisit what happened in the beginning and then how things have gone for you ever since. So with that, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. So we were just chatting before the show. You said you're in a new office setting. Your background is different than last time for those who may remember it. So what happened? You moved.
Yeah, just had to relocate to be closer to the family. Still running the business. It's actually kind of nicer to be able to have more office space, working from home, having to do that. So we're in the process of rearranging everything and, reorganizing.
In addition to the Thryv Foundation grant that you got at the early days of the pandemic, were you successful in getting any of the government program grants at that point?
Luckily we were able to get the PPP and the EIDL loan. Right now we're trying to apply for forgiveness with PPP. There's a whole lot of confusion that's happening with how to get it forgiven and, what's going to be taxable, what's going to be forgiven. So we're handling that at this point right now. We contracted with other CPAs to really handle that, since they're the ones who are keeping on top of all the continued changes. It seems like it's weekly,
Right.
what the IRS and what the government's saying is going to be changed. So we passed that off to someone whose specialty that is.
Right.
And that helped keep the payroll going. We didn't have any work, and a lot of our employees are, paycheck to paycheck or close to it. So that really helped get them through and get us all through, those really difficult months during the shutdown.
Tell me exactly what's happening right now. Is the business up and running? What was the shutdown at the time? That was relaxed and you were able to get back up and running again, and that has continued?
So yeah, we were fully shut down for a few months, and then we started opening up slowly in June, just for essential workers who needed us. And we also didn't charge for that. So they were on the front lines, and a lot of our doctors, they were getting burnt out. So it's if you need to stay, we'll come and take care of anything. But then we had to start charging. So we had to pay our bills. From there, it's kind of been a slow ramp up. Usually this time of year, we're completely crazy running around trying to make sure everybody's covered from the holiday travels and people going away, and with the stay-at-home orders and the CDC recommending people not travel for the holidays. The good and the bad is that we have a lot of people who are abiding by that and not traveling. So that's good that we're not spreading the killer virus. However, that's also bad for our business because that's what we depended on. So a lot of our holiday cat care and sleepovers and boardings, there's a waiting list by Halloween. And right now we're not even at capacity yet, so we're still hanging in there.
And your business, just to remind folks, so your business, as you said, was mostly boarding and care of cats and dogs, right? And also a lot of dog walking, right?
So Monday through Friday, about 95% of our business is providing dog walks and pet care for the people who are at the office and can't make it home for that midday walk.
Right.
Or on the weekends and holidays when people travel, we're here to take care of them, and take care of the house, make sure that, the house is safe, the animals are safe, their belongings are safe. But when you don't need to go to the office and when you don't need to travel, things slow down for us.
Is there any new services you've had to provide or been asked to provide?
So we've been doing a few, actually. A lot of our staff members have been volunteering with the local community efforts that have been happening. There's the mutual aid societies of different neighborhoods. So a lot of our members who have cars or who have downtime have been volunteering to go shopping and, helping pick up medications. And we've also started doing some more community building. We've been doing with our staff and with our clients. And I've also been now teaching more first aid and CPR classes for dogs and cats. And I've been developing different programs.
So Rachel, you said that after June, you slowly, once the lockdown ended, you slowly started ramping back up. And of course, we've all heard that in the past, 3-4 weeks, whatever, the numbers of cases have started to rise again. across the country. How's it in your neck of the woods, and how's it impacting you right now?
When this New York City school system closed, we saw, unfortunately, a drop in that. The parents had to stay home. We had the teachers who were staying home, and so we did have a bit of a drop off with the school closing, which we knew was going to happen. And then also when we had the CDC come out and say, like, hey guys, don't travel for the holidays, we then had a bunch of people canceling. And as I said, that's good and bad, because we were almost fully booked for Thanksgiving. And then when people started canceling, we didn't want to charge anyone because it's not out of anything that they did. It wasn't their planning. So, we just asked the clients, if you cancel, if you could just tip the walkers, no worries, just be safe. So we're managing. It's, we're taking it day by day. We're listening to everybody's press conferences to kind of get the idea of what's happening day by day and where things are going to be.
Right.
And that's really all we can do, is kind of react from what government is doing.
Got it. Okay. So it's still day by day right now. And are you optimistic about 21? Obviously we hear about vaccines coming. What's your thinking over the next few months?
I had someone who visited from Florida and was completely shocked how everyone outside was wearing masks and socially distancing and being polite. And he was very shocked because he used to be an employee of mine and remembered how Brooklyn used to be. And he's like, can't believe Brooklyn's like this. I'm like, yep, we got our stuff together. Like, Brooklyn and New York knows what they're doing. And for the most part, I think, once people start getting vaccinated and having a better understanding of a timeline and what's to be expected, and, the main thing is the jobs. Like, once we can get jobs back in the economy, people can start spending some money a little bit and be a little bit more relaxed, about job security. Because right now people are just not sure if they're going to be laid off. A lot of our clients, they're like, we have a job now, but we're not sure what it's going to be like in a few months.
Right.
So I'm optimistic that once things start getting a little bit more steady and we have a little bit more of a clear timeline and a plan, I think it will happen. It's just getting to that point. And when is that point?
Right. And just remind us, for the clients of yours who are boarding the cats or dogs or other animals, you have a facility actually in Brooklyn?
We do not. Our facility is our homes.
Okay. So
we match the caregivers with the dog's personality and temperament.
Okay. And you're still doing that?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's going really well, actually. All of our staff is trained for medications and how to deal with it. So right now we're doing a lot of elderly pet care. So the cats and dogs who need to be supervised a lot, they can't be overstimulated and they need shots or injections or medication every few hours. We're home more, which is, as I said, that good, bad thing. So us being home more is giving us more time to really focus on those elderly pets.
Just curious, from a business perspective, are you doing anything else different? For example, I was wondering, have you considered expanding outside of the Brooklyn area to either other boroughs or maybe even other cities?
It's on the table still. Right now we started selling pet products as well, like online. And we've just been working on that and other revenue streams we can try to bring in.
Well, again, wish you the best. I know it's been tough. We're all hoping that things come through in terms of additional stimulus to help the small businesses, and obviously that the vaccines come online and we get some other good news. So hang in there, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us today.
No, thank you. Thank you so much.
So that's our year-end recap. It was great to be speaking with our Thryv Foundation Grant Award winners from earlier this year to see how they've managed to succeed and flourish even during this difficult time for small businesses. Indeed, all have managed to succeed and continue running their businesses despite the circumstances. So that's our recap, and we'll be looking forward to providing you fresh content as we begin the new year in 2021. This has been Gordon Henry, Winning on Main Street. Have a great holiday season.